Yes, I proposed to my husband, bought his ring, bought his suit, paid for my dress, paid for my wedding ring, and then, girl, he asked me for a divorce.
So I came across that video, and I was wondering, what do women actually think about spending money on men? The video blew up online. The original creator even removed it. We'll get back to the full video soon, but it got me curious, so I went down a rabbit hole.
As a woman, as a female, if I like you, I'm tricking. I'ma spend money on you. I'm spending bang.
If he don't got a cup, I get it for him. Once we like a man, we like a man.
What is one bad financial decision that you regret making in life?
Spending money on a man? What the I swear, I swear, motherfuckers be thinking that you won't spend money. I'll spend money. If I put you heavily, I'll spend money.
So clearly, there are women who don't see anything wrong with it. Some even enjoy taking care of the men they love. What surprised me was how strong the opposition was. For some of these women, this wasn't just financial advice. It was something they believed could completely change the direction of a relationship.
I saw someone post that she once read a Chinese proverb saying, spending money on men brings you bad luck for a lifetime. And another one that goes, feeling sorry for a man is the beginning of your misfortune.
It's a sin to give a man your money.
Here's one thing my dad taught me while growing up. A man who asks you for money does not like you. As a divorce lawyer, I see the train wreck that begins the very moment a woman starts financially supporting a man who is fully capable of supporting himself. A man who is romantically interested in you is not asking you for a loan. A man who respects you is not asking you to fund his emergencies. A man who values you is not putting you in the position of becoming his ATM. When a man asks a woman for money, he is testing her boundaries. He wants to see how much she is willing to carry, how much she is willing to tolerate, how much she will sacrifice before she realizes she is dating a dependent and not a partner.
When the woman is a bread earner in the marriage, that marriage has a 75% divorce rate. The typical divorce rate is right at 50-50, and when the woman earns more, that increases to 75%.
That made me wonder, what are these women actually warning against? What experiences led them to feel this strongly?
Do you have any regrets in your life?
Of marrying my husband.
Why?
Oh no, I moved to Australia for him. No, you ripped me off financially.
Notice what she's actually describing. Most of these women aren't talking about buying a man lunch or paying for date night. They're talking about life-changing financial decisions made because they were in love.
He left me with nothing, basically. It was
what led to the breakdown of that?
I mean, he went off with another woman, and then that wasn't good enough for him, but I kind of bought most of the place we lived on, and he gave me very little for it, which left me in debt.
She moved countries for him, helped build a life with him, and she was the one who ended up in debt. That's not a small mistake. That changed the direction of her life.
In Australia, and I decided to come back.
How did that affect your mental health, that level of betrayal?
Well, I was pretty fucked up at the time. You know that old Chumbawamba song, I get knocked out, but I get up again. You have to, what else are you going to do?
Then if you could, maybe final question, if you could leave the people with a source of wisdom, something that kind of governs you in your life, what would be your message to the people?
Oh, you always have to get up again. You always have to carry on, and you have to go on. Otherwise, what's the point? Life is life. You just have to keep living.
Honestly, it's hard not to feel for her. There probably wasn't a single part of her that thought this would happen. She genuinely believed in this man. Leaving your country for someone, helping them financially, and then being left with nothing. That's heartbreaking.
For a little context, I married my husband a couple years ago. When I met him, he started from nothing. He was new to Canada. And when we got married, he moved in. I paid for everything, which is understandable because he was getting on his feet. When he did work for his cousin, I barely took anything from him because I felt bad most of the time. But then when he started making some money, I started noticing that he's still not contributing. And the rent here where I'm from is very expensive, just like I'm sure it is all across Canada. I pay $2,800 a month.
She just said the rent alone was $2,800 a month. He knew that, and he still didn't see any reason to put anything toward it.
It's not cheap. I was also paying for groceries, every little extra thing that you can think of. While he was putting everything that he made back into his businesses. Meanwhile, I also run my own business, and my business had to suffer a little bit because of that. I also got pregnant immediately after we got married. Our daughter's going to be 2 pretty soon. So I also did all of this, had to deal with all this through a pregnancy, through postpartum.
He must have thought she was invincible. Pregnant, then in postpartum, and still expected to carry the household on her own through all of it. Pregnancy alone is 9 months. Add postpartum on top of that, and there's no version of this where invincible isn't the word.
I'll give him that he's like a great dad. He's great with my daughter, but as a partner, he never really could even understand why I was so angry when he started making money. And I wasn't even expecting 50-50, like something, anything.
She wasn't even asking for an even split, just something, anything. At what point does expecting 50-50 or more, once you're the one carrying everything, stop being generous and start being reasonable?
Hydro bill he paid, but that just isn't enough. In the last 9 months, I have given this man close to $100,000. Actually, probably more, because if you calculate the last 2 years of paying rent and all the bills and all the little extras, groceries, blah, blah, blah.
And that $100,000 still doesn't include the rent, the groceries, the 2 years of everything else she'd already been covering. So where's the line for her? Where do the brakes kick in?
So it ends up being a lot more. I would cry about this. And he would say, well, your son doesn't pay rent. My son is 22.
He compared himself to her 22-year-old son, who is still living in his own mother's house, not his wife's, his mother's. He said that out loud, knowing everything else going on in this relationship, and apparently felt nothing about it.
And it's not that I didn't agree with my son going to work or whatever, but I didn't marry my son, and he just couldn't understand. He put himself in the same category as my child. Fast forward to today, we are no longer together, but we just can't agree on anything. And these topics still come up because it's pretty new, our separation and everything. So, I mean, I've also said some pretty crazy things. But one thing that he did say to me was, well, that I should be expected. I don't know if he used those words. He did say this for sure. Rihanna, she supported Rocky and his businesses. I'm sorry, I didn't realize I married A$AP Rocky.
He's a grown man modeling his own relationship on a rapper married to a billionaire, and somehow he's the one who feels entitled, not embarrassed that he needs the support in the first place. That's not confidence. That's a kid dressed up as a husband. None of it holds up anyway. Even if it were true, someone choosing to support their partner isn't an obligation the rest of us signed up for. And nobody's actually confirmed that story to begin with. It sounds like something he heard once and decided to believe because it was convenient.
One of the things that women will do that's not really talked about enough in order to keep a man is buy his love and affection. Hi, my name is Dr. Natalie Jones. I'm a licensed therapist. And, again, a phenomenon with women, especially women who haven't been taught how to love in a healthy way or love in a way in which they could just show up as themselves and not necessarily show up as a person who comes bearing gifts in order to get love and acceptance. These women will buy their man, essentially. And so what that looks like is, in order to keep a man, you will hurry up and make his life very convenient and very sweet for him. So if he's having all types of financial woes and things like that, and he leads with that, you're going to want to hurry up and problem solve all of his financial woes.
I wanted to include this one because it's the first clip that isn't a personal story. She's actually explaining why this keeps happening. The pattern isn't always greed. Sometimes it's women believing that love has to be earned by constantly sacrificing.
To get an ounce of love any way that they can. And so they feel like, well, nobody stays with me unless I'm doing something for them. I'm making it worth their while. If I don't make it worth their while, then they leave.
That's actually a sad thought, because if it's true, no amount of money would ever fix the real problem. Someone who only stays because you're paying their bills isn't staying because they love you.
I found myself stepping into a role that I never thought I was even qualified for, a sugar mama. Trust me when I say it wasn't a conscious decision. I had been working so hard in this job I was at. I mean, I'm doing graveyard shifts, and early morning shifts straight after. And after putting in the work, my hard work eventually paid off, and my workplace rewarded me with a very sweet pay rise. Now, looking back, I shouldn't have said anything. I was so excited at the time, and I told the guy that I was dating. But I couldn't have told him at a worse time because he'd been given the news that he had just been let go of his job.
This stood out immediately. She couldn't even fully enjoy her own success because the conversation turned into rescuing someone else. That should have been her moment.
Despite the setbacks, I believed in his resilience and I dedicated time to help him with job applications and interview preparations like a good woman. And because of this, I found myself spending more time at his place. I even remember there were times where we would even get hungry, but I knew he didn't have money, so I would order and take out for us, which I didn't mind paying for. However, the red flags really started red flagging when I realised I started to pay for a lot more than just takeout. For example, we'd be at Tesco's, I'd be buying my food or whatever, and while I'm in the checkout section, he would then come and add his own items to my groceries.
Notice he never asked. He just assumed. There's a real difference between saying, "Can you help me?" and quietly putting your groceries into someone else's basket like it's normal.
The first time this happened, I didn't take any notice of it. But then he just kept on doing it. It started to really annoy me. I refrained from voicing my concerns because I was too nice and I didn't want to come across like I was emasculating him. I even remember we went to the cinema one time. I had left my purse at home and as I had a new phone, I hadn't set up the Apple Pay yet. I did offer to bank transfer him the money. He told me not to worry and that he would cover it, which I thought was really cute considering his circumstances. But after the film, I get a notification from Monzo. He sent me a Monzo request requesting the amount he paid for our tickets. His excuse was that he had just checked his banking app and realised he didn't have enough funds. Gave him back the money and I said nothing.
This part almost plays as comedy. He only checked his bank balance after the movie. If money was that tight, wouldn't you check before buying the tickets in the first place?
So another time he asked to borrow £200 so he can get himself a new suit for an upcoming job interview. So I lent, keyword lent, it to him, which he promised to pay me back. Thankfully, he got the job, but did I get the money back? Nope. But I chose to say nothing, hoping that once he had settled in his new job and he got his first paycheck, he would pay me back. The tipping point came when his birthday came around and he asked me to get him a Palm Angels t-shirt. I reminded him that he still owed me for that suit, which he said, "I thought you didn't want me to pay you back." I was livid. I was like, "You promised to pay me back £200. £200 is a lot of money. Do I look like a sugar mummy?" After I said that, he laughed, you know.
The fact that he laughed says a lot. He was already comfortable. He genuinely didn't see anything wrong with taking from her over and over.
But it really dawned on me at that moment that I had become this boy's sugar mummy. To add insult to injury, he even made a remark saying £200 is light. After going back and forth and me reminding him of all the things that I pay for, he told me, "If you feel away, that's on you. You didn't say anything then. I don't know why you're trying to bring stuff up now." He was right. If I'm going to hold myself accountable, this was my L. So every time you think about wanting to give a man money, think of me. Remember this face and then remember this story.
That's probably the biggest lesson in her story. Small things don't always stay small. Buying the takeaway becomes paying for the groceries, becomes lending money, becomes covering a birthday gift, until one day you realize you've become someone's financial safety net.
What is one bad financial decision that you regret making in life?
I got a loan for my ex.
You got a loan for your ex?
I got a loan for my ex.
Like what kind of loan? Like a personal loan?
Technically, yes. He needed money to put down a payment for a house.
This one surprised me because we're not talking about groceries or helping someone through a rough week. This was a loan to help buy a house. If you need someone else to take out debt for your deposit, maybe buying the house should wait.
Yeah.
And so, of course, at first I said no because I didn't want to,
Right.
get into that. But he made me feel guilty, guilt-tripped me into...
Like what was he saying to gaslight you?
When you're in a relationship and you're with a guy and he's upset, of course, you kind of like give into that.
Yeah.
So he got upset, and of course, I was just like, you know what, it's fine. I was like 5 years into the relationship when he said that. So
5 years is a long relationship, so it's not hard to understand why she trusted him. But how long you've loved someone doesn't make the financial risk any smaller.
Oh yeah, so you're invested.
I was definitely invested. I was committed to that relationship, but I told him, I was like, you know what, fine, I'll do it for you, but you're gonna, of course, have to like pay me back eventually, you know? And it sucks because when I made that investment, I didn't even get to live in the house.
Nah.
I swear, I didn't even get to live in the house, and
What was the amount?
it was like
10,000, 20,000?
no, it wasn't even that much. It was like 1,000.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But still, it's just like he never paid me back. So
That's the part that gets you. He didn't just guilt trip her into taking the loan. He still couldn't honor his end of it afterward.
I definitely regret that decision. It was out of like, my love for him, but I would definitely not go back to doing that. Yeah.
Damn. And then what caused you guys to, I guess, break up?
Well, he just didn't put in the effort anymore. He wouldn't give me flowers. He wouldn't, make cute little dates, stuff like that.
Right.
That definitely took a toll.
So it was you that ended it then?
Yeah. It was me that ended it. Yeah.
I mean, he didn't pay you back at all.
He never paid me back, and you know what? It's fine because I'd rather not hear from him.
Yeah?
Yeah.
He didn't even reach out like, hey, my bad, like, I'll get you the money.
He paid me some amount of the money, but he only did that because he wanted to get back with me, but
Damn.
yeah.
And when he wanted her back, some of the money suddenly appeared. Repayment became another tool to get what he wanted, instead of just doing the right thing.
Yes, I proposed to my husband, bought his ring, bought his suit, paid for my dress, paid for my wedding ring, and then, girl, he asked me for a divorce.
Some people won't agree with me here, but I don't think there was any need for her to propose. You can tell your partner that you're ready for marriage and see what he does with that. That's different from financing almost the entire relationship from day one.
Now, he didn't verbally say that, but his actions did. I spent years trying to hold together a life I was financing almost entirely by myself. I was earning around $50,000 a month from home while raising my babies.
She was earning extremely well, but earning more doesn't protect you from being taken advantage of. Sometimes it makes you a bigger target once the wrong person gets comfortable.
He'd wake me up in the night to put the baby back to sleep. I would inherit my mother's car after she passed, and I let him drive it, and he wrecked it, an increase in insurance that I was paying for.
Another pattern worth noticing. She was working, earning the income, and still being woken up at night to handle everything else too.
Then came the house. He wanted a house for our family, so I used my cash, my credit, my income, and I bought one. But maintaining it became my responsibility too. The money, the repairs, the mental load, everything kept landing on my plate. So I ended a few of my contracts, reduced my income to $10,000.
Another pattern shows up. Australia ended in financial loss. Canada's business suffered. This woman actually had to reduce her income because she was carrying so much on her own. The money leaves first, the identity leaves after. The cost isn't only what you spend, it's often what you stop being able to earn.
And I took a sabbatical, and that's when I learned that the burnout I was feeling wasn't about working too much, especially since I loved what I was doing, but it was about having a lifestyle that I didn't have the ability to rest or take a break from.
Almost none of these women regretted being generous. They regretted becoming someone's long-term financial support while getting very little back. That's a very different conversation from buying your partner a birthday gift or helping them through a temporary emergency. Some women believe supporting a partner is completely normal. Others believe it should never happen. And then there are women who say they learned the hard way. The money leaves first. The identity leaves after. That's the part none of the arguments ever really disagree on. It only checks whether you noticed before the receipt did. Where would you say you stand on all this?